Happy Friday Eve, everyone. It's St. James Street James. I hate road abbreviations, so I pronounce my last name. Tonight, on this glorious Friday, I'll be reading an excerpt from my best-selling novel, At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, a romance novel for dudes. Go ahead. Grab a family member or a loved one. Have them gather around the phone or the computer. I'll wait. In the meantime, I'll just be drinking my Lead Slinger's whiskey. Maybe you've heard of it. It's the finest whiskey in the land. It's made by real Americans, not Russians, or whatever that other country is that's communist. I think it starts with the letter C. Oh, that's right, China. Cheers, everyone. Hope everybody's had a great week. Man, there's nothing like that first ninth sip. You know what I'm saying? While everybody gathers around, I got a Twitter question from a man named Steve today. Steve asked me this one simple thing. St. James Street James, I'm a man who's thinking about becoming a lady. What do I do? Well, Steve, first of all, you should go into your local hardware store. Be it a Home Depot or a Lowe's, or maybe you live in a small town. It's an Ace hardware store. First of all, what I want you to do is walk up to the man behind the register, introduce yourself as Steve, and then tell him you'll be turning yourself into a lady. Then, I want you to ask him where a hacksaw is. After that, you're pretty much done. So, good luck, Steve. We wish you the best in this life. It's a journey, you know? Sometimes you're a man, sometimes you're a lady. All it takes is a hacksaw to lop off your dong to figure out which one you want to be. So tonight, and At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, I'm going to read an excerpt from chapter... That's the thing about being prepared. Best laid plans, you know? You really never know what the fuck you're going to do. This one is going to be from chapter 14. The title of the chapter is called Drugs Are Fucking Awesome. And everybody wants them. So true. So true. And if you'll notice in this picture, there's an Asian woman who's 9 months pregnant, carrying a wheelbarrow full of heavy rocks down to a river. That's because it's the 1840s, and you could do shit like that. Today, well, they're running for fucking president. Man, how things have changed. Let's see, what do we have here? Samantha flings open the barn doors and a giant plume of steam hits us in the face. I close my eyes and take it all in. Inhaling deeply, memories of my first night in China come flooding back. I know exactly what the fuck is going on down in here. Once inside, I see that all the Chinamen have set up a makeshift bathhouse with people washing each other and having sex inside. All the giant horse troughs from the stables are filled with water. I'm actually surprised how much water that they have taken out of the fucking river. I mean, then I remember, well, they are Chinese. Never doubt their fucking efficiency and attention to detail. The only thing different from the Orient is that this time, there are men in this bathhouse as well as women. I don't know if you've ever seen a penis on a Chinaman, by the way, but it's like looking for an acorn in a pile of autumn leaves. When you first see one, there's a lot of algebra involved. You start calculating length times width minus body size, you get it. It's hard to tell if their dicks are that tiny or if they just grow insane amounts of pubic hair. Truthfully, that's a question for the scholars. Loretta, my wife, gasps and covers her mouth. Are you okay? I ask. Yeah, I just never expected that this went on. They seem like such friendly people. Well, to be fair, they're all still really friendly. But even I didn't know 4 people could 69 at the same time. It's pretty fucking rad, but if you want to, we can leave. No, I want to stay. You only live once, right? Jesus Christ. I hope that fucking phrase never catches on. Since we are going in, we should have a safe word. Right before I tell her that my safe word is harder, 2 beautiful nude Asian women grab her and lead us to a trough. They take our clothes off and put us into a makeshift bath. Once we are seated, they immediately start to pour hot water all over us. Everyone is smoking opium and pipes are being passed around from trough to trough. When a pipe is passed to us, Loretta grabs it and takes a deep pull, but this time, she doesn't choke like a bitch. Instead, she French inhales slowly like she's been doing this shit for years. Well, at that moment, instant seduction kicks in, and she moves towards me, straddling me Indian style, wrapping her legs around me. The 2 Asian women hop into the tub, each one taking a seat behind Loretta and me. They begin massaging me as we fuck. Notice I didn't say make love in that last sentence? That's because whenever there are 2 strangers buck naked with you in a horse trough that doubles as a bathtub, you're definitely fucking at that point. You sure aren't making love. In my head, at this very moment, I'm thinking that Loretta will immediately be freaked out by this. But instead, it's quite the opposite. This shit is going the fuck down. Eventually, we end up swapping Asian chicks. Loretta makes out with one like she's back in an Irish private school while the other one rides me, and Loretta is cool with that too. Who knew? As the hour passes, Loretta must have gotten with 10 different girls, as do I. Obviously, the Chinamen know that I am their master, so nothing happens on the other dude tip with the missus, you know what I'm saying? One dude does try to suck my dick, though, but I politely put the kibosh on it. Look, he got caught up in the moment, and I understand. Those things happen. Well, things became really hazy around 4 a.m. when I see 2 more Asian women lead my steed into the barn. They begin to wash him with giant sponges. One girl even puts a hoof in her mouth. Look, I'm into some pretty fucked up shit, but even I have to turn away at this point. I mean, good for him and all that, but I don't need to see it. As things take a turn for the bizarre, a blood-curdling scream rings out in the air. I can tell immediately that this is not a scream of pleasure. I run to the back of the barn following the sounds of the screams. Look, it's not atypical for someone to die during a drug-fueled orgy. Look, a lot of people can't handle their shit. But this time, no one is dead. Someone is about to be born. When I finally make my way to the source of the screaming, I stop in my tracks and look down at the nude woman in a trough and water mixed with blood. It's an Asian woman named Soon Lee, and she is about to have my baby. 1, this is the first and only time in orgy history that someone has physically gone into labor. 2, why do I still have an erection? Fight or flight, I guess. Adrenaline does some strange shit. With her screaming growing persistent, she grabs the sides of the trough with her hands and props her legs up over the sides. When she spots me, she looks up and briefly smiles. I knew you will be here for me and the baby, she says through gritted teeth. Yeah, but I also don't want to fuck up this orgy because we got a real good thing going right now, so let's just shoot this kid out. What do you say? She nods and begins to push. A Chinaman doctor runs over and puts a pipe in her mouth with the opium acting as an epidural. She takes an enormous rip and exhales deeply. I look down and see the baby's head peeking out. He has my sweet hair. Within what seems like seconds after that first push, she goes from crowning to the full baby shooting out of the water like a dolphin birth. The doctor bites off the umbilical cord and raises the child high above his head. He says a bunch of shit in Chinese and everyone cheers, so I figure it must be cool. I look up at the baby, and he looks like a little tiny Asian me. Everything else feels like a dream after that. I think I see my newborn baby riding through the barn of my Steed at one point, but don't quote me on that. All I know is I wake up the next morning with my wife back in my house in my own bathtub, full of doll parts and covered in someone else's blood. My Asian blood son, to be exact. Best orgy ever. That was an excerpt from The Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, a romance novel for dudes. It's been a long night, so I'll only be taking 19 questions. Peters! Question.
Okay. Just waiting.
Sure, go ahead.
No questions yet.
You betcha. Good night, everyone.
Just a lot of Yeah.
Good night, everyone. I'm gonna go drink the rest of this whiskey. We'll see you another Friday, I hope. Cheers.